Do you get pain in your shoulder from doing push-ups? Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Candy, and in this video, I'm going to explain what causes shoulder pain when doing push-ups, plus some tips that you can use to be able to do push-ups more comfortably without getting shoulder pain. So what are the things that cause shoulder pain when doing push-ups? Well, largely that comes from impingement, usually of the rotator cuff tendons. And impingement means that those tendons get pinched between a narrow space between the arch that runs over the top of your shoulder and the actual ball of the shoulder itself. Now, what causes impingement? Largely, it's three different movements where your arm goes up too high above your shoulder level. If you have too much internal rotation like that of your shoulder, or if your arm goes too far behind you to the point where the ball starts to glide forward in the socket. So how do you stop those things when doing push-ups? Well, I'll show you some different tips that you can use when doing your push-ups. And I'll show them first from a side view and then from a front view so that you can see them from a couple different angles. So let's first address that problem of the arm going too high up like this. Well, in order to prevent your arm from going too high up like this when doing a push-up, if you're back here when doing a push-up, your arm is relatively above shoulder level. If you come closer up this way, your arm is relatively at shoulder level. And if you go forwards, your elbow is below shoulder level. So where you go in a forward to backward position in your push-up can affect your pain when you're doing it. So if you're way out here, your arms are probably too far behind you. If you're way out there, they're probably too far in front of you. So getting your shoulders lined up basically over your wrists, maybe a little bit forward or a little bit back based on comfort, but to where you're basically shoulders over wrists is how you prevent shoulder pain from going too far up that way. Now, the next problem is the problem of internal rotation. This is internal rotation, that's external rotation. This is external rotation, that's internal rotation. So when you're doing a push-up, you can have internal rotation of your shoulders like this versus external rotation where you kind of tuck your elbows in like that. And so this is relative internal rotation, particularly if your fingers point inwards when you're doing a push-up. If you just point your elbows in or kind of tuck your elbows into your sides, that's relatively more external rotation. You'll also notice that this makes it a little bit more of a tricep exercise. Out here, it's very much chest and shoulders. As you tuck in a little bit more, it activates your triceps a little bit more and takes some pressure off of your shoulders. So that's the second tip to help if you have shoulder pain when you're doing push-ups. Now to see that from the front angle, here's a relative internal rotation position where you're like this. As you tuck in, that makes it more relative external rotation. As you bring your arms a little bit closer together like that, that also functions to stress more pressure towards your triceps. Whereas out like this, it's more effort on your chest and shoulders. So out here, it becomes more of a chest and shoulder exercise. Whereas when you tuck in like that, it becomes more of an elbow extension exercise. So the last tip to relieve shoulder pain when you're doing push-ups is more to do with the shoulder blades. That when you're doing push-ups, if you allow your elbows to come way back like that, it glides the ball of the shoulder forward in the socket. So if you're going way too far back like that with your elbows, then it makes the ball go too far forwards. Now you can compensate for that by using your shoulder blades a little bit more. So your shoulder blades are doing more of the motion. And you don't have to get way back there with your elbows. So how that would look in practice. If you allow your elbows to go too far behind you, and this would be the wrong way to do it, where you're going like this and the elbows are getting way back like that, that's not the right way to do it. You can activate your shoulder blade muscles or your serratus anterior in this case just by coming up farther. This is called a push-up with a plus, or sinking down, where your trunk is actually moving on your shoulder blades without much movement of your arms at all. So you want to push forward, go into that plus position to activate your serratus anterior, and then come down into your push-up, and then back up. Come down to your push-up, and back up. Come down to your push-up, and back up. So those are 3 tips to help prevent shoulder pain when you're doing push-ups. Now, if you find this video helpful, give it a like and subscribe to our channel so you can get notified of our future videos. And if you happen to be in St. Louis and you do need help for shoulder pain, feel free to reach out at More for Life, and we'd be happy to help.